All right, everyone. It's about 2 minutes after. I think we're going to kick this off. So again, thank you for showing up today. We're going to review Cloud Pak for Data, the latest iteration 3.5. We're also going to record this. So if anybody wants to send the link to a friend who wasn't able to make it, you'll be able to do that. So that being said, let's begin. So here's our agenda. Pretty straightforward, some introductions, a little bit of overview of Cloud Pak for Data. And then my friend Gabe Green is going to hop on and he's going to actually demo Cloud Pak for Data so you can actually see it live, and then Q&A. But if you have any questions at all during the presentation, just raise your hand and ask a question. We'll do the best to answer it. So a little bit about us. So we're TechD, we're a premier IBM business partner. We handle pretty much everything data related. So ETL, data warehousing, governance, analytics, predictive analytics, machine learning, security, everything wrapped around data movement. So Cloud Pak for Data is perfect for us because it pretty much encompasses everything that we do. Here's a little bit of the team. So these people might have reached out to you in the past. So I'm Mark Martina. Gabe Green in the middle. He's going to also be showing you the product a little bit later. And then you probably have seen, heard, or talked to at some point Phil, Brad, or Jenny. So I figured I'd add a picture or two from them. Okay, so just kind of an overview of Cloud Pak for Data. So think differently is kind of how we describe it. So pre-2018, so pre-Cloud Pak for Data, everybody would buy a product depending on what they needed. Right? So if you need a DB2, you'd buy and install DB2. If you want a data stage, you'd buy a data stage. Cognos, you'd install it as a separate product, planning analytics, so forth and so on. Now the big value of Cloud Pak is you're not buying individual products anymore. The whole purpose of Cloud Pak is it's a platform. So Cloud Pak for Data is a platform that contains all of IBM's products that really handle data. So all the ones that we deal with personally. So data stage, quality stage, anything moving your data, governance with WKC, Cognos Analytics, Watson Studio, which is the premier AI software, DB2 Warehouse, DB2, all these different products. Instead of purchasing now, all you do is you get Cloud Pak for Data. And it's a large platform that delivers everything that those individual platforms, individual products supplied you. But now, instead of buying them individually and figure out licensing, all you do is get Cloud Pak for Data, and then you just buy capacity. The more capacity you have, the more people you can put on the system, the more products you can use that are in Cloud Pak for Data. It simplifies everything in a variety of different ways. I think one thing that's nice is you can just spin something up if you don't like it, and you just spin it down and then just move on to another product. It really allows you to test everything IBM has involving data. All right, so we always talk about the AI ladder because this pretty much involves everything in Cloud Pak for Data. So collect, organize, analyze, and infuse. So we have to collect our data. So again, that's things like your ETL tool, your data stage. Organize it. You want to put it into your warehouse, DB2 warehouse. You want to analyze it. Well, maybe I'm using Cognos. Maybe I want to use, Watson Studio. Then you want to infuse that to the users and push that data out to everyone. Right? So that's the AI ladder. And literally Cloud Pak for Data is the entire AI ladder in a box. So what is it? Well, it simplifies, unifies, and automates the delivery of data and AI to the business. We have one client that had literally nothing, and they wanted to start everything from scratch. So rather than selling them this product and that product and everything else, we literally just dropped off Cloud Pak for Data, and they had everything. So now they're using Data Stage for their ETL, but not regular Data Stage. It's the Cloud Pak version of Data Stage. So the ETL built in the Cloud Pak. Now they're using DB2 Warehouse, but not one that they installed, one that's integrated with Cloud Pak for Data. Now Cognos integrated again with Cloud Pak for Data. Governance with Watson Knowledge Catalog, again, integrated with Cloud Pak for Data. So they went from having nothing in the AI ladder to having everything overnight. A little bit of a shock because they went from nothing to everything overnight, but I mean, it was amazing. It was one platform that did everything end to end, right? And now they just start implementing it, right? So Cloud Pak runs on what's called OpenShift. So everything with Cloud Pak is containerized. So rather than installing products, running, install.exe or whatever it is, setup.whatever, all you do now is you have OpenShift, which comes free with Cloud Pak. Typically, it's sold separately from RedHat product, but Cloud Pak comes with it bundled for free, and OpenShift essentially manages all your containers. So now you just run containers instead of actually installing a program. It's all containerized. You just start up or stop a container. Makes your life a lot simpler. And it's designed to be very hybrid. Since it is containers, you can have some containers on-prem, some in the cloud, and any cloud you want. Here's how our clients take Cloud Pak for Data. I'll explain it. All right. So your AI ladder, again, it's back. Collect, organize, analyze, and infuse. Well, before Cloud Pak for Data, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months to go end to end. Right? With Cloud Pak for Data, the 12 months comes out to be more like 6 weeks. Because again, everything's up and running. Everything's got this unified interface. If I create a data source connection in one product, I've now created in all the products because it's a Cloud Pak for Data connection. I set up a user in Cloud Pak for Data. I just set them up in every product. Everything's automatically integrated and designed to work together. So Cloud Pak's been around for a little while, a little over 2 years. I think we're on year number 3 now. So we're at iteration 3.5, which came out end of November. Started out at 1.1 back in the day. And again, that was a few years ago, so we're at the 9th iteration. All right. So usually companies are doing one of two things. Either they're trying to reduce cost or innovate. Right? So clients that are trying to reduce cost, what they're doing is they're trying to, 30% of them are actually trying to drive down the technology cost. They want to cut here, there, whatever. It's that kind of climate, especially with COVID coming out. Now, another, 23% of clients out there are doing the exact opposite. They're not really trying to cut costs. They're actually trying to innovate. Right? So they're probably spending more money to actually get in the newest, latest, greatest technology. Right? So what's the benefit of Cloud Pak? Well, it does both in one. Right? So for cost reduction, it's improved user experience. It's the same user experience, right? So no matter who you are in that ladder, in that organization, you're going to log on to the exact same platform. You have the same look, the same feel as everybody else. So it's a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler to manage. It's a lot simpler to maintain. It's a lot simpler to understand as user and consume. Right? Again, it's a simplified platform. Everybody logs into that same interface, no matter who you are in that AI journey. And it has all the enhanced automation built in. Right? The innovation side is, well, it has all that great stuff built in the Cloud Pak. So accelerated AI, We've got everything with the word Watson in it, built in the Cloud Pak for Data. Watson Auto AI is in there. Watson Studio is in there. WKC is in there for data governance. And so it's your entire little ecosystem in one environment, and it's the latest of everything, a lot of which is in the top right quadrant. All right. So again, on the cost reduction side, improved user experience and simplified platform. Right. And the current version runs on OpenShift 3.1.1 or 4.5. If you're an OpenShift person, you know what that means. Right. So navigation. What's nice about it is, again, it's all web-based. So there's nothing to install on anybody's PC. All you need is a browser or URL and credentials to log in. It's a unified experience. So this one interface has everything. So when you see governance, think Watson Knowledge Catalog. When you see data, think, DB2 Warehouse or think Data Stage. So under the covers, it's all these products built in, but it's now sitting in this one platform, which is Cloud Pak for Data, and this one interface, which is the Cloud Pak for Data console. And they've actually taken the product names out of it. So I always say the product names just because I know what they are, but now it's called governance, it's called catalogs, it's called data, because who cares what the product is under the covers? Who cares what the engine is? We're taking the tech out of it, right? What are you trying to do? All right, here's your pull down, here's your options. What do you want to do? That's how it works now. So no matter who you are, you're still going to get the same interface. Now you might have less things available to you. Like the business analyst has maybe smaller amount of tools available to that person as the data scientist or the data steward or the data engineer. Right? But again, it's the same pull down. It's just based upon who you are as a user and what your access rights are. You'll see different things. So they'll appear, disappear, depending upon what role you are, but everybody has that exact same interface. And that just simplifies things massively. A lot of navigation improvements between the older versions, 3.5. Every iteration, they're making it cleaner, simpler for everybody to work with and understand. So they're talking to the users, getting feedback, and they're actually putting that feedback into the system. So it was easy to use before, but again, every iteration, it's nicer, cleaner, and better, and 3.5 is obviously the best. Platform connections is great. You create a connection. In there, it's available for everyone. Multi-cloud connections. The data management console. Without Cloud Pak, every tool has its own console. Now with Cloud Pak, all you do is you have your different connections, gives you the status of it available, response time. It's one interface for everything versus if you bought all the components individually. And you technically can. Every component, most of which that are available in Cloud Pak for Data, you can buy as individual standalone products. If you do that, you have to install each one individually. You have to come up for system requirements for each one of those products individually. You have to understand how to install it, configure it individually. And then when you log into it, each one's a different login. Each one has its own security. So you can't create one user for everything. If you have 5 different applications, that's 5 different user connections, 5 different logins, 5 different URLs to connect to. Now it's one and done. It just simplifies everything for the user and the entire team. So that's our data management console, integrated unified database management tool. So this will connect to all of your databases, one place, and then you just give access to individual people there versus going in your ETL tool and creating data source connections there, going into your analytics tool, creating connections there, going into your catalog tool, creating connections there. Why are we doing the exact same thing over and over again? Simplified. One place, now it's available to the platform, and as a result, it's available to all the functionality of the platform. So system administrators and end users often have difficulty operating in managing containerized environments. It's designed to simplify that. Everything is built in with it. So not just the containers themselves, OpenShift comes with it. It's all part of the install, and it makes your life much easier. So now you've got one operations console that tells you about everything, what's deployed, what it looks like, what jobs we have running, if it's canceled, failed, what the status is of everything. One unified platform for all your products. Makes life a lot simpler. You know where to go. It's always the same place. Again, so platform management is a big deal. And that's one of the many advantages of Cloud Pak for Data. Okay, so deployment spaces, automation to simplify the management of production workloads, which is great. So when you have a workload on your system, you have different nodes. You can actually manage what runs on what nodes. You can have different alerts, and you can actually balance things out. Because again, it's not segregated systems, it's one platform. Enhance automation with RedHat OpenShift. So again, if you look at the Forest Wave, RedHat is the leader when it comes to OpenShift, which is a multi-cloud container development platform, if you want the full-blown kind of category. As you know, that RedHat was purchased by IBM, so there's obviously tight integration. It's technically the same company under the covers, even though they kind of run themselves individually. So it's not just built, with OpenShift in mind, who's the leader. It actually comes with it as part of that, so you don't actually have to buy a container platform. So you can go buy OpenShift if you want, but you can use it for other applications. If you're using it for Cloud Pak, there's no need to purchase it. It's just part of the install. So benefits of Cloud Pak for Data 3.5. The AI stuff is definitely very strong. So Watson Machine Learning Accelerator. Federated Learning is also built in. Improved data governance. So WKC, Watson Knowledge Catalog is part of it. I'm not sure. I don't know a lot about open pages, but there's an open page cartridge which is added as well, which is an add-on. And there's also extra third-party extensions that have been added. Right. What are some use cases? There's a ton of use cases out there. And we can go through those in more details if you want. Watson Machine Learning Accelerator. Right. So it makes things a lot easier, a lot simpler, and has GPU acceleration. If you're familiar with GPUs, I kind of equate it to like a math coprocessor from back in the day. It's kind of built onto the chip, designed to make AI much faster. All right. Again, a variety of use cases. I don't know if I want to go through all of these. I think we can all figure out our own use cases. So IBM Federated Learning with the machine language without moving the data. You can take your own Python and run it in here. You don't have to necessarily use the GUI that IBM has, even though it works very well. You can do things in a more generic, like Python, but still add it into the entire environment, make it a lot more user-friendly. And what's nice too is you can push things out. So it's federated. So you can have things running on IBM Cloud, AWS Cloud, on-prem, Azure, Google, wherever you want. And the federated learning puts it all together. That's the whole purpose of it. So all the capability of DataOps in a single experience. As I was saying before, it has governance, it has data quality, data consumption, everything is built into it, and that's the Watson Knowledge Catalog. There's also knowledge accelerators, which are great. So out of the box, they have certain industry models that are pre-configured. So it's kind of a jump start if you need to do any type of machine learning. So here's some use cases. And security obviously is a big deal. So I guess there are a lot of breaches. There's always a lot of breaches, but here's a few that were from 2020. Microsoft had a pretty good one, only 280 million users. It's not too bad, right? Avon, Razor. So security is also built into it as well as part of the governance. The data privacy. So it has reports built in for GDPR, CCPA, that's the California Protection Act, built into it. It's able to take your different data. It's able to actually shield your data, encrypt it, so people can't actually see what the data is. De-identify the data. And again, Open Pages extension is new with 3.5 if you're an Open Pages user. Expanded ecosystem. Here's just a few people using it currently. All right. And then again, there is open data for different industries. So solutions built in, some for oil and gas, some for others as well. Deploy anywhere. So as I was saying before, so in addition to just having this unified platform, you're able to actually have it anywhere. So even though it's called Cloud Pak for data, it doesn't have to be in the cloud. It could be 100% on-prem. It could be 100% in the cloud. It could be a hybrid of both. It could also be in multiple clouds at the same time. So deploying options, run anywhere. Okay. You can actually get it as a system. So IBM will literally drop off an appliance that has Cloud Pak right on it. It's a starter service. It runs on Z, runs on Linux, Power Systems. So again, here's the option of the system. So it's hardware and software. So you literally do nothing. It's turnkey. It just gets dropped off. So that's a performance server. So again, two of the bigger things are cost reduction, and it does that in a variety of different ways. The unified experience, the unified platform allows for a strong cost reduction, but then for innovation, it's giving you the latest, greatest of all the products in one platform. So here's the latest version of it, and here's what it comes with. So it's got 50 plus third-party components built in, 35 data and AI services from IBM. It's got 31 different industry accelerators built in. User persona, so the people that would use it, data scientists, engineers, stewards, business analysts. A variety of different storage mechanisms. Right? And deployment options, pretty much everywhere. Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, IBM Cloud, Power, Z. Technically, it'll actually run on any cloud, but they just listed the main ones here. Right? And I think now we want to go into a demo. Looks like somebody has a question. Does it run on public clouds or on-prem today? Waiting for some clouds to be generally available. So that's kind of what I just went over actually. So yeah, so you can have it on-prem. You can have it in the cloud, a public cloud. You can have it on a private cloud because you can install it on your own, either in a cloud that has OpenShift available. You can just install it right there, or you can have your own service in the cloud and install everything, including OpenShift. And you can use multiple clouds at the same time. So yeah, so the answer is yes. It runs everywhere. Even though it's called Cloud Pak, it runs on-prem or in the cloud, and it is hybrid. You do not have to buy the appliance. There is a software and an appliance version. So if you wanted the software, not a problem at all. You just supply your own hardware and you can install it. And again, you can install it on-prem or in the cloud. You do not have to buy the appliance. Right? It's also available as a service from IBM. So you can just kind of run it as a service in the IBM Cloud. And then, even though it might not be available immediately, I think this summer, you'll be able to actually push the workload out to other cloud providers like AWS or Azure automatically. It's a pretty slick feature. All right. So saying that, I think I'm going to unshare my screen and give it up to Gabe. Gabe, are you ready?
Yep, I sure am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay. right.
Share away.
There you go. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep, perfect. Looks just like my slide.
Okay. It does, which is good. So, given the time, what I'll be doing is just kind of I'll walk through some of what Mark presented. We'll go high level, and then we'll save a little time for questions at the end. If there's anything anybody wants to see or specific questions, happy to go in that direction. A little dangerous doing a live demo, I realize that. But that should be fine, actually, considering the platform. So what you're looking at is the portal to our Cloud Pak for Data 3.5 environment, demo environment, and it's actually basically brand new. Right, so very few assets in it, although a lot of services in there, but keep in mind it is a demo environment. While I'm showing it, if you see anything that there'll be fewer assets and so on. Not that we can't walk in direction. In fact, I can even show you I think Mark briefly mentioned there are many assets that are available, including this is IBM's community site for their industry accelerators, different than the knowledge accelerators. Just trying to hide this toolbar if I could, but put it up there. There we go. Okay. Different than the knowledge accelerators, which are paid for in. Can you still see my screen? It's giving me a little message about moving away from the window.
I can see it.
Okay, so these, and I'll show you some of this, right? There's a documentation link, community link, and so on available from within the platform to guide your end users and make it easy for them to get to your information, right? I mean, that's ultimately the goal. So, but here, right, these industry accelerators are free, and you can focus them on individual industries if you wanted to. Though I do have one that's loaded, and actually I loaded the Utilities Demand Response Program Propensity under the Energies and Utilities, but you can see there are many, including other, free on the IBM's community website, accelerator formats. They have different bits of jumpstarts available. Typically they have some sort of glossary because Cloud Pak for Data contains Watson Knowledge Catalog, which is a data governance, and contains a business glossary tool within it, right? So, but they'll have that, and they'll have, sometimes then Watson Studio accelerators, notebooks that are available for use, sometimes our Shiny apps and so on. And so definitely give you a head start, and you can just kind of click on Get Accelerator now, and I just kind of want to show you how I added the content. Very easy to do, right? Totally explains how, what's included, sort of the areas of interest, how the R Shiny app, if it's included, works and what it's meant to do, and then prerequisites within Cloud Pak for Data, right? And then instructions on how to get the information in. But I mean, really, it's as simple as dragging and dropping for the most part. Right, so I'll close this window. Right, so this is Cloud Pak for Data, and what I'm going to do is log in as the administrative user. But you can have, it's a role-based security, right? So I can have a variety of users with a variety of capabilities, right? Each assign different roles. I can create custom roles and assign capabilities to those roles. So I'm in right now as administrator, so you'll see absolutely everything. Right, you can see on the home screen, which I can customize to some degree here. Right on my home screen, I've got a quick preview or an overview of what's within the platform for me. Right, so task monitoring, notifications, any requests that I have, right, that I might need to fulfill, business terms, and so on. Right, so a high level, how's my governance look for my enterprise? Deployment spaces because I'm an administrator and so on. Right. I do have quick links for that are pertinent to me. Adding users wouldn't be something that a non-administrator would do, but I have it here. Now, discovering services, browse the catalog. This is an interesting one. Mark showed that in the slides, but it really, the platform is incredibly pervasive and growing in its different integrated services that are quite easy to add. Right, so once you have Cloud Pak for Data running within a cluster, then it really is just capacity-based. Very little has to be done to enable one of these services. Once they're enabled, you can see they're enabled, and then provided you're able to provision an instance if that is required for the service, then you can do so directly on the platform itself. Right, so Watson machine learning, I already have provision, but you can see you get a high level, here's the instructions and so on, right? So quite a few services, very easy to use, very easy to extend the platform, right? So I'm just kind of scrolling through them now. Right, so getting to the side here though, right? So I was on the home, and this is what's called the global navigation menu. Many things, are within this brand new cluster that I installed, and I've got a number of services already here. So you're seeing quite a few as you add services, right? It just sort of extends what you see available in your navigation menu to some degree, depending on the service, right? Some are just back-end instances, and some have their own means for getting in, such as Cognos Analytics. If you're familiar with that enterprise reporting tool, Cognos Analytics can be installed right here in the platform. You don't see a menu necessarily, in global navigation menu kickoff here. But that actually becomes part of my instances, right? And I can publish the end URL, which I've done here, to end users that would use Cognos Analytics and develop reports there, right? Leverage data back and forth, right? So as we kind of walk through here are some of the different sections, and I won't focus too much on any one area, but you get topics within your global navigation menu, like under data. I see platform connections. These are Connection Central. I'll show you this because it is kind of cool. There was a slide that was in Mark's presentation that sort of did show this. And so you can see I've got a variety of different data source connections. Now these could exist outside of the platform, doesn't have to be integrated, but many, in our case, these are all integrated within the platform, but some of these are actually integrated services. Right, EDB, that's actually a service that's within the catalog and was added and provisioned within. Same data virtualization was added. I can show you that. That's actually a very, very cool tool. Allows you to expose what looks like to the end user a single interface, but behind the scenes can be a composite of a heterogeneous database environment. So. And in fact, I have a view that one that I did graphically that I can show you, where I'm joining tables on DB2 and SQL Server, and then another that I did through SQL, Common SQL. If you're familiar with DB2 syntax, then I could be technically joining between a file, a table on Postgres, EDB, DB2 warehouse, all in a DB2 SQL syntax. Right, create a composite view over top if I wanted to. I've got DB2 Advanced Server Edition, DB2 Warehouse, integrated, and so on. If I had additional data sources, right here are the supported connector types. Takes you to the documentation, but if you look through the documentation, right, there are a variety of data sources, but effectively anything that's JDBC absolutely works, and then many that aren't. Absolutely still work, right? So many, many different kinds of connections supported. JDBC drivers here, right? This is where I could even upload my own. I had a custom JDBC driver, my own B-tree database or something like that had a JDBC driver. Could drop it right in. Give it a name, give it the class name, and away I go, right? As an administrator, I could do that and add the JDBC driver, define the connection type, and make it available to end users to use. Right, those platform connections, then everything within the Cloud Pak for Data environment here talks to everything. So the platform connections become available to users within other services, depending on that service and what it supports. Databases, so this is my databases to which I have access. Right, and these are the ones that I have integrated with. They're part of the services integration within the platform. But as Mark mentioned, right, if I open any one of these, then there's a centralized, trying to keep the look and the feel and in the presentation, so it's not It doesn't look to your end users as 30 different services. It looks as one single interface. And so what you're seeing here is the data management console, but if I look at DB2 or data virtualization, you'll recognize the exact same console with, a huge variety of capabilities, right? So anything from, I could load data right here to some degree. I could explore data right here, to even submitting my own SQL statements or saving them as templates for other users to use. Now, all of these can also be exposed externally. So even though they're running in the cluster, right, these technically are within the platform as integrated services. Doesn't mean I can't use them outside. And I have connections to each of these, which if we wanted to, I could even show. But the data management console itself, right, so my integrated services do show here. So here's my advanced server edition. If I click on that, right, not only do I get high level what's going on with all of my databases, right, you'll recognize the same look and feel for this console. Doesn't matter if it's DB2 Warehouse, DB2 Advanced Server Edition, data virtualization, all looks and feels the same. I won't really go into data virtualization. That's an entire, at least an hour itself. Data requests, right? So you have the concept within the platform. It's role-based security, right? So not every user has the ability to simply navigate to platform connections or add platform connections or create them. So you have a workflow request that can be initiated by an end user that might not have the capability, and then fulfilled by somebody that does, so that then they can get to the data they need. Under projects, right, the concept of projects, this platform services everyone, right? So you name it. I've got DataStage, which is a data integration tool integrated into this platform. So I've got a variety of job types and project types, right? Everything is a project, and a project is a central location for a group of users to do a specific task. They could be analytic projects, they could be transformation or data integration projects, they could be data quality projects, and so on. And so I'll click on projects just so you can kind of get an idea, right? And you can see I've got a mix actually here. And this is the one I loaded from the Industry Accelerator, which gives me a jump start in the data science direction, including a very nice Shiny app, which all running within the platform. Right. When I look inside a project, then this becomes the sandbox for the given project type, right? So this is an analytic type, which means it's anything from data scientists going in and creating potentially Jupyter notebooks, right, for doing data science modeling and so on, to developing Shiny apps, right? So this is an Shiny app that can then be used to present information. There's also a portion of the Cognos dashboard embed. CDE is the acronym there, but that can be, I can create a dashboard that actually presents information within my project that then I could later publish, right, and make available for more users so that they can gather information or insight from what I've developed. So you can see there are a couple of different files that are here right now. These, right, if I want to add my own, you can see if I have the ability to do so, and I do in this project, I could simply drag and drop files from my desktop. If I have the ability, if I had files on the underlying system that weren't in my project, I could add them here. If I have the ability in my published enterprise catalog to access certain assets, I could simply add them here by selecting them from the catalog and adding them to the project. Or go the other direction. I could be somebody reviewing the enterprise catalog, and then I want to focus my data science or my refining or viewing to certain asset types, and so I publish them into a project from my enterprise catalog. And so any direction, backwards and forwards, you can go inside Cloud Pak for Data. I can see environments to which I have access within this project, and you can see I've got running within my cluster RStudio, variety of Python editions, and including Spark. right? I'll scroll back up. I have jobs. These jobs, these came in with my industry accelerator, but these jobs can be done to perform a variety of tasks. So here, you can see these jobs are actually running a notebook, but I could do what's called data refinery tasks and others as well. Right? Data refinery is a tool that allows, it's a graphical tool that allows you to actually design transformations against the data that you might have added, anything from sampling to calculated fields and so on. And that's done through a graphical interface, very easy to use, meant for just an end user to use. And then behind the scenes, it leverages Spark to be performant in the way that it executes. And then you create a job to re-execute those and schedule that and so on. I've got access control since I'm the administrator, right? I'm the only one here, but I could add other users to this project. And then I've got settings for the project and so on, right? So, and this is just one area, right? So keep in mind, there are so many other services that I've just added to this demo instance, right? The platform could be extended to the nth degree. I can launch RStudio. So if I have an IDE like I do here, RStudio, I could launch it. I could actually take this project and export it to the desktop and even import a project that I have saved. Depending on what you have added, right, this asset type gets extended. So here's the federated learning that Mark had in one of his slides for machine learning. Data refinery, right, describes each of them and quite easily, you can click on these, including I've got SPSS Modeler, right, which is a very cool tool. I won't go into that. Auto AI is a neat feature for doing auto machine learning. So actually develops, runs several different models, displays the accuracy, does feature enhancement, right? Really jump starts. You can then export to Python and continue from there, publish the models to Watson Machine Learning and so on. Very, very cool tool. Right, but I won't cover too much. I'll just go into, to show you sort of the integration with everything to everything. I can, since I'm in the project and I am an editor, I could add my own connection. And here are the different connection types, right? So very many, including generic JDBC. But I can also add from my platform connections, right? So again, that global everything talking to everything within the platform is still here. I'll click on cancel. And we'll continue. Right, I've got catalogs, right? So under catalogs, most of you may be familiar with what some vendors call data catalogs. Here you've got everything, right? So information assets, sure, which is typically what vendors would call data catalogs, to metadata, so enhanced with governance or governance assets and so on, right? So if I go to all catalogs or if I search, right, I can search anywhere within the platform. Right, and so I could go, you know what, I'm after my retailer table. And it would search, and by default, it's going to take me into the enterprise catalog, which is where I was going to show you anyway, all catalogs. And once I'm in the enterprise catalog, right, this again becomes and I can have multiple catalogs, right, but by default, you've got one enterprise catalog against which everything is synchronized, right? All your asset types, information about all of your assets within the platform are stored there, right? I can assign this or associate this with any governance artifacts. I can see any related artifacts if that's appropriate. Right, I can also get to, depending on my permission, right, I can preview the data. And data masking is part of the platform, right? So as an administrator, right, I can see everything. But if I were an end user or I gave an end user access to the enterprise catalog, which I can show you, then these data classes, the business terms, tags, anything can be used to sort of associate what's called a protection rule. And I could do anything from deny access to even redacting or masking certain values and columns. Right? I can get to access and add members individually to a given asset. I can even do then crowdsourced ratings or reviews, right? So I can add my own comment, establish my own rating, and it shows me the overall average rating, the number of different star levels, and so on, right? So I can then rate assets within my environment, and then I might want to retrieve an asset that's you have the same name or the same asset type. I want to retrieve an asset to leverage in my data science experiments that's higher rated, right? Go to Profile. Profiling is inside the catalog, gives me a high level, here's some information that I can leverage to tell what's inside this asset, right? So I'm seeing data classes associated. Now I can refine these, I can review these, right? Tells me what kind of information is within this, this retailer data asset, which is a database table in my case. I can see activities, right? So this is an activity lineage of sorts. So I can see what's happened within the lifetime of this asset from an activity standpoint. So when it was added, what's been changed to it, right? Data profile was created, and so on. Now this is different than data lineage, which shows how your data has moved through your enterprise, right? You know, for a retailer table here, how did the information get here, or where is it used after? Right, you know, so it could be in CSVs to an ETL job, to a retailer table, to another ETL job, to a final table, to an end report. That's also something I can show in a different location. Right, going back to the navigation menu here. Information assets, these are technical assets, right? So things can be separated here. Users that might view the enterprise catalog or the metadata about the assets and reviews and the ratings and preview and adding them to projects all exist here. Information assets, these are technical assets within my enterprise that could be associated or are associated typically with lineage and governance. Right, so now this focuses me very specifically. If I look at my retailer site, let's say, and I could search right there very specifically on information assets. And now I'm looking at the technical information about this retailer site database table, including here's the host, right? Here's the database, here's the schema. I can hover over any section here. I can click on any section, right? Here's my database schema. I can see database columns and so on, right? So you name it and it's here, even published data quality, right? And I can see, okay, this is the overall data quality. It was last published. And here's kind of what caused maybe some of the issues in data quality, because it's not 100%. Although, you know, this is a demo data, so it is very high. Here are some of my data class violations, right, for the columns within. Right? And this is outside of data quality, which gives you quite a bit of information, quite a bit more. Right? I can go to lineage. This won't be impactful because you won't see the true, I don't have much here. But I can show you sort of the look and feel. Very powerful tool. You can, these can look as, and quite often do, in actual production catalogs, right? These look like roadmaps, city roadmaps, and they can be focused with an inventory table. Right, so this could have 50 different stages, basically showing how this retailer site, how data got to it, how data came from it. I can track individual columns in that process if I wanted to. I can move it around. I can focus it. I can save it to a picture if I wanted to. Right, all part of it. I'll go backwards here. Right, so we'll go back into our information asset. The other cool tool here is everything, everywhere you see explore relationships, right? Relationships are tracked, and I can see how everything relates to everything. Right, so I get a graph here that will come up. There we go. Right, so now I can track everything to everything, including governance, right? So if I had governance associated to this table, right, here's my retailer site table. I can organize this around. I can zoom it in and out and go, well, that's part of this database schema. Let's see what else is. Okay. part of that, that database, that's fine, but there are other associated database tables in that schema. Let's take a look. Right, so I can go, okay, here's retailer, that's interesting. Let's track that. Right, and so on, and so on, and so on. So I can see exactly how these are associated as well, right? These are within context, but they could be term assignments. I could track from the term. They could be category assignments. They could be, so you name it. It could be soft governance to hard data rules to technical assets and so on. I can see things like deployments. If I had Watson machine learning deployments, I have the Watson stack loaded here. Right? I don't have any deployments that I've published and I'm tracking here, but I could. So I could see how those are being used as endpoints within my environment. I've got all of my governance, right, including a slick means to add that technical asset information and actually perform a series of steps as one easy process, right? If I want to automate my data discovery, I could simply select a connection, but again, right here, I've got Microsoft SQL Server and some demo data there. But if I don't see it here, let me add a connection. And I certainly can, right? So, these are the different platform connection types that are pertinent to discovering data. So I go, you know what? Let me add my DB2 database. I don't have to know anything about how that connection was defined. I'm able to use it and discover data right away because it was a platform connection. Right? And so on and so on, right? So I know we're getting short on time, and there are just so many things here. But, so then I could simply, if I go, you know what I want to do? I want to discover information, and this could be done programmatically. I'm doing it graphically. But I go, you know what I want to do? I want to discover some information here in this schema. And I could say, grab everything in the schema, or grab one thing in the schema. Now, this one thing, because this is coming from a database, it will reach out and grab more if it finds primary and foreign key relationships, because those are pertinent to the data quality or the relationships associated with this table. So it'll automatically do that for me. I can pick these are projects. These are data quality projects. Right? So I can say, you know what, let's add it there. Modify the project settings, and I can say what I want to do in this one process. So I could say, you know what, just add it, and I could leave it as is. I want to grab the metadata associated and publish it to my enterprise catalog. I can absolutely do that, just publish right away. I can say, you know what, let's analyze data quality, or analyze the columns, then let's analyze data quality, and automatically it's going to use supervised machine learning to associate my governance terms or my business terms. I could say, you know what, I'm comfortable with the way I fine-tune the system, so I'm just going to go ahead and let's just publish it to the enterprise catalog as well. I won't do that here. I could use data sampling. If this was an extremely large table, I could absolutely use data sampling if it was enabled for the project, or I could disable it. Right? And then once I go to discover, it automatically performs all the steps in between, including data class assignment and so on, right? So automatically this will become available. I've set it to a data quality project and said I want to review it first, right? So I don't have to wait for this. I can come back later. Do this programmatically, so it refreshes objects, finds new ones. And then later, if I have the ability to do so, I can go into my data quality focused area and review data quality and see how the assignment was done and fine-tune it, manually override sections and so on. Variety of, just an incredible amount of information available in the data quality analyses that really enhance not just data quality, determining data quality within my enterprise and making sure that I've now published or made available high-quality assets to end users that develop reports, data scientists, and so on, but even when developing ETL jobs or understanding the source. Right? Quite often, I'm sure everyone's run into where they say, okay, source system, I have to pull some information, and they go, okay, as far as you can tell, this is going to be a character field, and it's always going to be the following, like can't be null, so you don't have to worry about that, right? And then you find out, you develop a job, or you look at the results, and you've got It's not all alphanumeric. Some of it is just you know, has no numbers in it whatsoever. It's a different format. Some of it's blank. Some of it's null, right? All of that can be exposed through automated analyses of that data beforehand, and you can review it and really streamline the process of understanding your data and developing results from that data. Administration, right? So because I'm an administrator, I can go in and I showed you the services catalog from the home screen. Instances, I can provision instances of services, to all the way down to, you know, managing sections of OpenShift from my thin client portal that's available to me here, gathering logs and so on, right? Community links, documentation, you name it. Diagnostic jobs can be run to automatically gather information from the underlying system to submit and support cases back to IBM. Opening a ticket right here, and so on. Heck, you can even share an idea. So I know we're almost done with time. So many other things that I would love to cover, but Brad, Mark, I think I'll turn it back over to you guys and see if there's any questions that could be answered in the short time left, or whichever way you want to go.
That was great, Gabe. I really appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of good features, a lot of great functionality. Any questions anyone had? I went through all the questions. I think I answered them pretty succinctly, but if I didn't, please let me know. Anybody have any other questions? Does anybody want to see a customized demo internally? We can always set that up. That's not a problem. But yeah, I mean, that was an overview of Cloud Pak for Data 3.5. So again, unified platform comes with everything to do with AI, data, the entire ladder. I think they got all their questions out earlier on. Well, if that's the case, then everybody, I really appreciate your time. Gabe, thank you so much. It was a great job. If anybody has any questions going forward, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you, everyone, and hope you enjoyed Cloud Pak for Data 3.5.
Thanks, everyone.